creates a suction force. That suction force is so strong that it spins a gyroscope. What is a gyroscope? Now, this, and this. Attitude indicator, your turn coordinator, and your directional gyro. These three are gyroscopic devices. Now, we're going to study about all 6 of the primary instruments. The name of the chapter today is instruments, right? There's a lot of instruments, so I want you to have a general idea about all the instruments. We spoke about some of these yesterday. We spoke about the RPM, rotations per minute. Yep. Now, these 3 are for navigation. Your localizers, the VOR. Focus too much on this as part of your PPL level theory class, but let's keep moving. On this side, you've got your comms. Now, as you can notice, there are 2 comms, COM 1 and COM 2. You can turn on whichever, so right now COM 1 is on, 2 different radios completely powered separately. If one of your communication turns off, you can even use your second radios, 2 comms. But generally speaking, we use both the comms, and we're listening to, let's say, the tower guy on the COM 1 frequency, and we could be monitoring another frequency on COM number 2. Does that make sense? So that you can do. DME, distance measuring equipment. Maybe you guys should make a note of it. Grab a pen or your notebooks, because I'll be saying a lot of stuff which I will be asking you in the exams as well. So make a note of some of these things, yeah? DME, distance measuring equipment. Very high-end G1000, Garmin G1000, that is like a super important one. Now in this device, during your instrument training is when you'll be using this mode. You see V-lock, that is the vertical localizer, right? So these are the localizers. You'll be changing a few things. So this shows you your path, your navigation, your GPS, your VOR, all of that is in this one, yeah? Now let's keep moving forward. Now the D button, this is for direct, menu. We'll go through this later when we go through the instrumentation. Right here, you've got another navigation device. You can plug in your GPS and so on. This is all navigation stuff. I'm not going to focus on things which we're not talking about in the PPL level theory. This is very important. Remember the transponder we spoke about? So a transponder has the button ident. The word ident, if you click on ident, you will blink on your radar. The air traffic controller will know exactly where you are because you'll blink on the screen. Now, we can click on off and completely turn it off if we want. We can click on to turn it on if it's off. Altitude, ALT. Sometimes the air traffic controller will specifically tell you squawk altitude mode, which means turn on your altitude mode in your transponder. If you turn on the altitude mode, only then he can see your accurate altitude and so on. If you're on standby mode, it may not show your clear image to the air traffic controller. Again, transponders send your identification codes. They can tell you squawk 3125. It goes 3125, and that number will be available for the radar guy to identify who you are on the screen. Does that make sense? Now, this is your autopilot. The bottom box, you see this? This is your autopilot. You set your heading, your navigation, your approach, your altitude, your vertical speed. You can set all that and let the autopilot fly. Yeah, every small plane also has autopilot. So this will be the simple autopilot system. Now, we already spoke about flaps. We already spoke about the throttle. You know what? This is supposed to move, right? It says right there, at all flight altitudes, takeoff and landing, it should be on both. Yeah? Now, let's keep moving. Now, this is your trim wheel. You see this moving? This is called as a trim wheel. What is a trim? Now, elevator, rudder, and aileron could all have a trim, but most of the planes don't have. We only have elevator trim in the smaller planes. So this entire elevator, when it goes up and down, when the entire elevator goes up and down, your nose pitches up and down. But what if you want to do a tiny little movement? What if you just want to do a gentle movement to the top without changing the angle too much? If I do this, nose is going to go up and down a lot. So I use the trim wheel. I turn the trim wheel. When I spin the trim wheel, my plane's going to go pitch up and pitch down in a very controlled manner. So if I want to do like a gentle half a degree, 1 degree nose up and nose down, don't use your hands, don't use your pitch up and pitch down from your yoke. Just use this trim wheel, which is right next to you. So if you spin this, there's a line which you need to match for takeoff. If you're taking off, you have to make sure that arrow and the white line is in the center. But once you've taken off, you want to cruise at a certain altitude and you want to maintain a certain altitude, you just spin that and either go up or down. You see this? If I do trim up this way, my nose will go down. It's written here so that you don't forget. All the way? All the way, all the way. You can reduce it all the way now. Yeah, very good.
Come on, let's see if I can catch.
Don't turn left and right. When you're so close to the runway, do not turn left and right. Only rudder. Use your rudder. Do not use your hands. I see your hands turning left. Only use your left leg rudder when you're so close to the ground. Reduce the power all the way.
Can you reduce it all the way?
You have to reduce it all the way. When you're 50 feet.
I can't because it's...
So you have to press the top of the toe. So your position, you should be a little bit more closer. Or move the... So now, you're not pressing the brakes equally. That's also one of the concerns I have. Also, your legs, you're not very lined up for it. Pull the rudder pedals closer to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pull that, hold it with your legs and gently, yeah. So keep yourself in a comfortable way. Yeah. With 50%. Start with the basic 50%, yeah? Yeah. Hand on the throttle or on your lap, preferably on the throttle, because your right hand is doing everything from your mixture controls, radios, flaps, and your right hand's going to be so busy you'll never have time to actually put two hands on your yoke. Now I always say this, right? So if you've watched movies where people are flying with two hands, obviously nobody on the movie sets had anything to do with pilot training. You never fly with two hands. You only fly with one hand because your right hand does 100 other things. Yeah, that's a good approach, but the power is a bit too high, so reduce it to 30%. The whole approach should be at, so you see the button for 25, there's a line for 25, yeah? Just a little bit more than 25 should be 30. You see what I mean? Yeah. Very good. Keep gently descending. You can go ahead and add flaps. Press the button number 2 for flaps and the nose will pitch up immediately. Do not let it pitch up. Pitch down a little bit to keep your nose from going up. So what's happening is the flap is creating a lot of lift.
There's more drag.
There's more lift to begin with. Sure, drag is slowing you down. Your airspeed indicator will drop as soon as you see your flaps going down. So, yeah, you're doing perfect. You're doing perfect. Yeah, just a little bit more decent, a little bit more, and reduce the power just a little bit more. So notice that the flap will make your speed go slower, but that means you can actually do a sharper descent without your speed increasing. The angle of attack and the pitch down is going to be a lot more. Generally speaking, without flaps, if you pitch down a lot, your airspeed will shoot out of the sky. It'll be 100, 120. But he's able to pitch down and the airspeed is still not going more than 80 knots, 75 knots because of flaps. Pitch down a little bit more. Reduce your power. Hand. Left. No, you can't land on the right one. You have to land on the, you have to land where the arrow tells you to land, right? Let it keep turning to the left. That's fine. Let it keep turning to the left. You should also coordinate the turn by adding a little bit of left rudder. More left rudder. Yeah, very good. I like the approach. Yeah. Now reduce the power a little bit more and try to pitch down a little bit. Go for one more degree of flaps. Press the number 2 again. See, as soon as you see, the nose will automatically rise up. Every time you put a flap, nose will rise up. So press it a little bit more. Now gentle left. When you're really close to the runway, do not move your wings because your wings will touch the ground. Use your rudders. But for now, you can gently turn a little bit to the left. Very good. You're a little bit high, but it's okay. You're up to the toes here. Now, hands don't work once you're on the ground, right? So, if you feel like you're getting off the runway, you can apply the brakes, but also apply the left rudder. Apply the heel pressure also. Press the heels on the left. Heels. Apply pressure on your left heel. Left heel, yeah. Let me show you what I mean. So, when you operate the brakes, you can operate the brakes, but also apply the pressure this way. Does that make sense? So, if you're perfectly lined up on the runway, Damien, this is the toe action, right? But if you're not completely on the center line of the runway, you apply the brakes, but you can also start applying left rudder. That way the plane will also start moving to the left. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, now let's gather around and we will now do the 6 primary airspeed indicator, the attitude indicator or the artificial horizon, altimeter. You've got your turn coordinator, your directional gyro or heading indicator, and you have your vertical speed indicator. Now, as you can see on the screen, pressure instruments and gyroscopic instruments. The pressure instruments are instruments which use, Omar, can you see? Yeah. Come right behind him. There's a scopic instrument, which means there's a gyroscope inside it. Now, let's learn about each and every one of them, right? So, and the last one is a magnetic compass, right? According to the textbook, it says magnetic compass. This is your magnetic compass. Your magnetic compass is not very accurate. Let me show you why it's not accurate, right? A small example, right? If I take my mobile phone with all the electronics, and if I put my electronic mobile phone next to the magnet, if this was a real plane, that would start turning. It would start pointing towards this as north. Does that make sense? Yeah. If you take a couple of coins and I put it right next to it, your magnetic compass is going to start moving. But what I can show you right now is if I suddenly accelerate, right? Now there's brakes already, so let's release the brakes, all right? Now, you see how it was on pause, it was on full brakes. Now, as soon as I add power, look what happens.
You will try to move, but
let's release the brakes. You see that? You see what just happened? So basically, everything to do right now, let's just notice that, right? I'm doing a takeoff, all right? Yeah? Now, if I'm accelerating or decelerating, right now, there's also a wobble. Do you see the wobble there? Now, you don't know which is the right direction. And by the way, just because I have moved it, now for the next couple of seconds, it'll keep wobbling. Now, I can bring the plane to a full stop. I can brake, right? But that is no longer accurate. It doesn't mean that that is the accurate number. You'll have to let it settle down for a minute or two after the plane has completely come to a full stop. And then after a while, it'll show you 5-10 degrees left, right, and then it'll come to a full stop. Imagine magnets inside it. What does it have? It only has a gyroscope. The more faster the gyroscope spins, the faster and the better the gyroscopic precision. Now, we have to push this button, you see this? And turn this button. It does not know where is north and south. We have to align. Now, when the plane is perfectly level and it's not moving, after a while, okay, now I can be quite sure that that is probably the right number. But there are two problems. One is that if I have coins or electrical devices next to it, it will show me a wrong number. But guess what? There are a lot of electronics here, right? The engine is right in front of you. The metallic massive engine and all the electronic wirings and the electrical devices is creating a little bit of problem. So in this, you will see a card which tells you about all of its errors, right? And in fact, they also have some other errors where if you're flying from north to east or east to north, there are certain things which will be different. So if you see this, 060 is actually 061. Every now and then, and a maintenance guy will update that, right? Maybe aligned with the magnetic north. Look at that. You see that? This is showing a different number, this is showing a different number. So I have to look. But if I'm already in the airport, the place where I'm parked has numbers on it. The place where I'm parked, you clearly know this is north, or this is north, right? So you line up this by turning this to whatever that number is. So that is showing 11, I would say. So I have to line it up. Make sense? Whatever that is and whatever this is needs to be lined up. And that's the gyroscope. So gyroscope, gyroscope, gyroscope. Make sense? So these are the three categories. I split this cockpit into the gyroscopic devices. I'll ask you a question. What are the gyroscopic devices? And you have to tell me the gyroscopic devices are three. The attitude indicator, the turn coordinator, and the directional gyro. Or you can say heading indicator. Two acceptable names for heading indicator, directional gyro, attitude indicator, or artificial horizon. These are the, now also this one, by the way, this is a gyroscope. It has no idea if this is the horizon, right? Now, because it's a beautiful clear day, if anybody has questions, please stop me and ask me. Yeah? If you're looking outside, because it's a beautiful weather, I can see the horizon. I can see where the sky meets the ground. But this is the artificial horizon. This is your original horizon. You don't know about this. So what you're going to do is, you're going to spin this. You see this? I can spin this and I can make it go up or down. Now, depending on when the plane starts and the gyroscope starts spinning, this screen can come to a stop and it may be like this. You just start the plane
and it is like this. So you will have to turn it, match the white line, but you can only do this when you know for a fact that you're on a stable ground. If you're on a slopey taxiway, or if you're on a place of the apron, which is a bit of slope, you cannot. You have to make sure that you're perfectly balanced and you have to level it off. This you need to do before you take off. The plane does not know what is level. You need to tell them. But now, as long as the vacuum pumps are working, and you see this is sourced by the vacuum, right? It says vacuum right there. Because it is using the force of vacuum and the vacuum flow rotations per minute inside that device, and from now on, as soon as you let go of this button, it will get stuck. The minute I press, the scope gets stuck to this is the horizon. So technically, you look at it and it feels like the screen is moving, but the screen is not moving. It's like looking at the sun. It looks like the sun is rising from the east and going to the west, but sun is not moving. The planet Earth is turning from west to east. Everybody okay with that? Similarly, when I'm up in the air,